Hi everyone, Dr. Me from Pain Free and Fit. Today, a great video on how to train your back safely at the gym with spondylolisthesis in the lower back. Hope you enjoy. So if you've seen any of our other videos here on the channel about lower back training and spondylolisthesis, you know a recurrent theme we're always talking about is avoiding excessive extension in the lower back, meaning we want to make sure that that tailbone is not traveling higher than the pubic bone. We want to make sure the torso is not leaning back, because when the curve in the lower back starts to increase its arch, it jams the posterior aspect of the spine, the disc, the facet joints. It causes a mechanical pressure that forces that spondylolisthesis vertebra more in a forward sliding motion. That typically aggravates spondylolisthesis pain. So we counter that or protect that from happening by using abdominal tension. We tilt our tailbone slightly under or our pubic bone up, and we crunch our front lower ribs slightly down. That tension helps to avoid or check the ability to increase the arch in the back, protecting spondylolisthesis. When we couple that with our unique neutral spine position that's tailor-fitted for each and every one of us, my neutral spine position is going to be different than yours because it addresses our unique mechanical tendencies. Some of us like to raise one hip higher than another or lean more to one side. Some of us are stronger twisting to one side. Some of us have a weaker atrophied multifidus stabilizing muscle that connects to our spondylolisthesis vertebra. Some of us have an overactive internal oblique muscle, and we try to engage our deepest core muscles like our transverse abdominis. An internal oblique will fire on one side, causing a twisting or a rotary stress on our lower back. So you really need to know what your neutral spine position is through a body analysis. If you haven't yet done so, go to the painfreeandfit.com website. We have a free body analysis. Check out what your posture and movement tendencies are. We're all asymmetrical, especially those of us that have lower back pain. If you learn what it is and how to avoid your tendencies, especially when exercising, because these tendencies will come out when you're pushing your body its hardest, it's going to go to its strengths, and when your strength is a dysfunctional type of movement or an asymmetrical muscle engagement around a spine, you're going to lose stability of your spine. You're going to aggravate many times spondylolisthesis because those stresses are going to be too great for your body to absorb. So, that being said, once we have our neutral spine set, once we have a little bit of tail under and rib cage down tension with the abdominals, we want to watch out for two basic things while we're training our back to avoid spondylolisthesis pain. Number one is in a rowing motion. If I am doing a typical, let's say, standing cable or band row, okay, or if I'm doing, let's say, a bent over row with a barbell, when I'm rowing, or even a dumbbell bench row, any type of rowing, or for that matter, even a reverse fly motion, let's say I'm working on standing cables, let's say I'm doing bent over reverse flies for rear delts, any type of horizontal pulling motion, whether my arms are going out or narrow, has a tendency to use the momentum of bringing ourselves back by increasing the arch in the back. When the barbell is down and I go to raise it, part of what helps to raise it is a little cheat or momentum of trying to raise my torso up as I row. Now that can be very incremental. Those of us who have been training for a while decrease that, but still that force of going up, especially when we're tired later in the set, has a tendency to over increase that arch in the back, aggravating pain and having us lose our neutral spine and abdominal tension. Plus, when we contract our lat muscles, which is dominant for any type of row, the lat muscles connect the shoulder to the lower back, and when the lats contract, they, through their mechanical attachments, want to increase the arch of the back. So you have two things working against you. When training the lats, the lat wants to increase the back, and when you have some kind of free weight movement or even a cable movement and you're standing and you're not protected, you have a tendency to increase the arch of the back as you come back. So alternatives to that are much safer is using a bench and doing prone versions of that. When you're on a bench, the chest is down, the hips are down. When you engage that tailbone under and that rib crunch down, you're locked into the bench. It's a lot easier to hold that while you're doing your flies, reverse flies, or while you're doing your dumbbell or barbell rows, because here it's a lot easier to keep the chest down. You'll feel if the chest lifts up. Plus, if you're going to extend, because you have the bench to push against with both your pubic bone and your lower ribs, any extension is usually limited to the upper back, the mid back, and you're not extending the lower back. So that's a lot safer for reverse flies and rows. You can also use this concept on a seated bench for rows where you have a chest support. If I go to a seated rowing machine and lean against the chest support, I now have a position to lean my chest into, which will help facilitate that forward crunch of my ribs and tailbone under, locking me in position so I'm a lot less likely to arch my back. Now the second concept is with pull downs. If I do any type of pull down, or let's say pull up, free weight, as I pull to the front of my chest, you can see my torso naturally likes to lean back. That's because you're always going to be stronger in a horizontal motion with your body than you are with a vertical motion. So the body puts that into play, especially later in the set when you're tired and we're trying to eke out those last few reps, by leaning backwards more. Watch anybody in the gym doing a either narrow grip, a supinated or wide or medium grip pull down. As the set continues, they're going to have more of a tendency to lean back for the last few reps because you're stronger mechanically with this horizontal line of pull. Unfortunately, that leaning back, we know, extends or overarches the lower back, aggravating spondylolisthesis pain. So alternatively, you want to select pull exercises that are more dominant to the back of the head. As you pull now to the back of your head, you have more of a tendency to crunch down with the ribs and you avoid that overarching of the back. That can be done with both supinated grips, wide grips, and even narrows where you're pulling like this. You can use cables, you can use ropes, anything you want to the back of the head. You can even tilt forward from the hip joint to accentuate this, where your whole body from your ear to your hip is slightly forward and you're pulling now more to the back of your skull. This motion is going to facilitate lat development, but avoid overarching the lower back and aggravating spondylolisthesis pain. Keep these tips in mind. Will go a long way to helping you avoid lower back irritation when back training. If you like this video on spondylolisthesis and back training, check out our channel. We got a lot of great videos out there to help you. Questions or comments, write in. I'll do my best as always to answer them. If you're looking for a great program to help protect your back against spondylolisthesis pain, check out our fast track program for spondylolisthesis available at painfreeandfit.com. It has all your analysis to figure out what your unique mechanical issues are, why mechanically your back is susceptible to stresses, and how to implement, design an exercise program to help not only correct those mechanical problems, but systematically build the fitness and conditioning of your back to protect against spondylolisthesis pain. I hope this video on back training and spondylolisthesis helps you with your chronic lower back problems.